So if you're earning between this range and you're new to budgeting, I think this is a good start to help you. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for the love on all my videos, and thank you for clicking to watch this one. My name is Tara if you're new here. I love to make videos around business, entrepreneurship, personal finance, my faith with God, and stuff like that. So in today's video, I might be looking down a lot because I'll be looking at my laptop, and we're talking about budgeting for your income, personal budgeting, how we budget. It might be our salary, it might be the income that comes to us from our side hustle and all of that. I was recently, because every month before the end of the month, I go on my laptop and then I see how to adjust my budget for the month and things like that, and allocate funds to where the fund is supposed to go. And I just thought to myself, I should come on here and share this, because no matter how small or irrelevant or insignificant I might think it is to me, to someone else it might be very, very helpful. And when it comes to personal finance, how to manage money, how to budget, some people do not even know where to start from. I used to be in that boat some time ago or some years ago, and this has really helped me. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first thing is knowing what your overall income is. And also a quick disclaimer, the figures I'll be using in this video is not how much I earn or my exact figure, and I'm not here to do this video to brag or anything like that. I'm just here to share my knowledge on budgeting our personal finance every month, and how to help us cultivate the habit of saving and maybe investing. So let's get right into this very basic way on how to set your budget for the month. So the first thing is, if you're a salary earner or you do side hustle, whatever your income is, know the total of your income. So for the sake of this video, I'll leave the total of the income as hold on. I'll leave the total of the income as 7,000 cedis, and also I'll see where I can share my screen somewhere so you see what I'm looking at, right? So is you knowing all your personal income. For me, like I tell you guys, I come on here to also share my faith walk with God. For my personal income, the first thing I do is I take out my tithe. Yes, I do tithe. So as after I've taken out my tithe, whatever is left, so I already take out my 10% for tithe before I put the remaining figure on my laptop. Yeah, the next thing you have to do is you leave a section for debt. I would say if your salary is within this range, you should at least you know the rule of saving 20%. I'm taking out 20% of your income, split it for savings and debt. So now let's say you have 10% out of your total salary, which if it's 7,000 cedis, it's supposed to be 700 cedis, right? But for the sake of this video, let's say we want to take out 500 cedis as the debt we owe, and how we want to, that is what we want to pay back every month, right? So before you do this, make sure you're also in agreement with whoever you owe, whatever institution you owe. Make sure you're into agreement with them as well, so they have like know when you're paying certain amount to them. So now for the sake of this video, let's say you're owing Nana 200 cedis and then you're owing Kofi 300 cedis. So the total of that should be about 500 cedis. So the first thing is take out your debt. It is very, very important. When you're in debt, you have sleepless nights. You have sleepless nights. You're always thinking, oh, what if this, what happens next? So always make sure you're prepared for it. So the next thing you have to do is your fixed expenses. So fixed expenses are things like food, rent, transportation, your utility. For me, I also add my offering and my partnership or sponsoring something, yes, that has to do with church, so I also budget for that as well. So if you're interested, just keep watching this video, you see how I do all of that. So your internet that you spend in the month and all of that, those are your fixed, because I go to church every Sunday, so I must give offering, right? So those are your fixed expenses. So for food, if you're earning within this amount, your food should also take like a bit of the salary, because if you don't have food, you tend to buy food out, you tend to eat out a lot and all of that. And there's a trick I learned recently when you're bulk buying food stuff. It is not just bulk buying, but also bulk cooking or batch cooking. Now when you cook, store them in your freezer and then bring them out to eat. And also another thing that has helped me again is having a timetable, knowing what to eat on a particular day. It has really helped me. I'm going to show you what my timetable look like, and maybe show you like a little snippet of my fridge. Yes, so that has really helped me in saving money. Yeah, so you don't just buy bulk things when it comes to food stuff, but you also cook it and put it in the freezer. Okay, so the next thing is rent. Here in Ghana, we do not pay rent monthly, but you already know how much is your rent for the month, for the year. So I would advise that you start, after you've paid the previous year, you start taking out money every month. Keep it aside. I talked about the Bizo app, so I think you can use the Bizo app to save for your rent as well. So have like maybe a 10-month plan or a 12-month plan where you just send the money to every day. So if you earn between 7,000, higher or less, know the certain percentage that will go into your rent. And also if your rent is, let's say your rent is so let's say you know that every year you pay about 6,000 cedis for your rent. You should know that you have to keep about 500 cedis every month, so that at the end of that year you just take it and go give to your landlord. So yeah, you take out your rent and also transportation. If you're someone that drives, good, you have to know how much you want to budget for the fuel in the year. But for this salary, I'm just going to leave it as maybe you pay transportation to work and all of that. So let's say for this you take out 300 cedis. The next thing is ECG, your light bill. Let's say for your light bill you take out 400 cedis as well. And then I also talked about offering. If you're earning between this amount, this range, you should budget about maybe 200 cedis for the whole month that you want to give as offering. So when you're going to church every Sunday, you already have it. Just be organized. You already have it in your envelope, and then you do all of that. So take it out. Don't just say, oh, I'm not going to plan for it. Plan for your offering like you do every other thing. Internet is very important. I don't know where you are, but where I am right now, I use Vodafone fiber. So you might decide to opt for that and pay maybe their 150 package for the fiber if you're working from home mostly. But if you're not working from home, then you don't need this. You just need to maybe opt for the daily data, or I think for me, I think the daily data is cheaper. But if you're someone that do not consume a lot, you can choose to do maybe monthly data and manage it. So let's say for your internet, you spend about 200 cedis for your internet monthly. So now I have talked about fixed expenses that we do every month. So the next thing on your budget should be fun expenses. In as much as we're trying to be serious with our finances and all of that, we should also keep money aside for what will give us a little joy here and there. So the first thing on fun expenses might be maybe if you love movie, or if you love to eat in a restaurant once a month and things like that. For me, I haven't done this in maybe 2 months. I love to buy, like, there's this favorite wine that I like to indulge in. I'll show you a video of it. I like to buy it every month if I can. Yeah. So just to like be like, oh Tara, you deserve it. It's not so expensive, very cheap. I think it's about maybe 40 to 60 cedis. I'm not sure of the price, but you can leave about 100 cedis for maybe movie, restaurant, or wine. So maybe that once a month you might decide to buy something from a restaurant that you like that is within 100 cedis. That is what I advise if you're within the salary range. Yes, for me, my wine is about 70 cedis, but for the sake of this, I'm going to leave it at 100 cedis. And also, if you're someone that goes to work every day, you might also want to leave some money out for clothing. For me here, I work from home, but I go to church every Sunday. I go to church weekdays as well. But I recycle my clothes, guys. I know how to style myself, so I'm not really someone that will leave money aside every month for clothes. Yeah, but if you're someone that go out every now and then and you're within the salary range, I don't think you should be looking at going to big boutiques to buy clothes. You can go to Kantamanto to buy furs, right? Just what I think. So for clothes, you can leave about 300 cedis every month. You might not necessarily spend it, but if you spend it, it's fine. It's always good to look good, right? I also have a clothing line where I sell silk items. So sometimes if I make something, like we have like a new range of products, like new range of clothes, I might like one and be like, okay, I want to take one. So that's a little bit different for me, because I might decide to pay small back to the business, or maybe not. Yeah, so for clothing you can at least take about 300 cedis. So for self-care, another thing for fun expenses is self-care. It can be nails, it can be massage, it can be gym, it can be all of that, because this is fun. It is not so necessary. So if you're a lady, I would advise you keep about 200 cedis. Do things within your budget. Don't be earning 7,000 cedis and below and looking at buying human hair that costs about 2,000 cedis. You're just going to cripple yourself. How do you save if you do that? So do things that are within this range. So 200 cedis, you might decide to braid. If you have a friend or a sister that know how to do hair, like, just manage yourself and plan yourself ahead. Trust me, you are still going to look good. So you can braid your hair, you can go to the salon, make sure your nails are clean, a little pedicure, nothing overboard because of what you're earning. But of course, if you're earning way higher, you can decide to allocate more for that. So the next thing for fun expenses would be subscription, right? So you see some people that subscribe to Netflix, Showmax, what's this other one called? Like all these movie platforms that subscribe, Iroko TV, different platform. And the truth is, you are not watching all of these things at the same time, right? So why not limit it to one or maybe two? And especially if you're working, like you go to work from morning to evening, what time do you even have to watch Netflix? What time do you have to watch all of this? So what I advise and what I do right now, the only subscription I am on, this might be too much for someone else, but for me, the only subscription that I'm on is Showmax, and it's about maybe 40 cedis. But for you, you might decide to add maybe Netflix, but don't make it too much, right? Because you are not even available to watch them. So yeah, so I do YouTube, which is free, and then Showmax is about 40 cedis. So yeah, so for the sake of this, I left it for just Showmax, which is 40 cedis. Now, another thing I added on the fun expenses is my dog food. So my dog likes to eat what I like to eat, right? She likes to eat yam, she likes to eat eba and egusi soup, she likes to eat all these things. So when I'm eating, she likes when I'm eating and then I feed her, or she eats beside me in her bowl. But sometimes as well, I like to give her treats. So I budget about 80 cedis for that. If you do have a pet, right? But if you don't, then that can be taken out. But I'm also using my own what's it called? I'm trying to balance it and see what I do, and maybe some of you too might do. So that's for dog food. And that subscription might be something else that you use. So why I added this other subscription for me is Canva. Yes, I use Canva for business, yeah, but at the same time, there's sometimes I just want to post some quotes on my WhatsApp. I also like to use Canva to create those quotes. So I pay for Canva subscription as well. It is fun expenses. I might decide to skip a month. It is not necessary. So I did all of that, and you can see the total, yeah. And the next thing you should have in mind is future / your savings. It is very important. You know, I said in the beginning that out of your income, you should take about maybe 20% off to share between debt and your savings. It is very important. So for the sake of this, I would say maybe you're like me that is planning to buy a car or not. These are things I think you should look into. So now let's say, for example, you're planning to buy a car, you're planning to travel. I want to go to Ivory Coast this year, and I just don't want to take out money from somewhere else So I want to plan for it. So I want to go to Ivory Coast this year. So I'm saving with the Bezel app. I've talked about Bezel app in one of my videos. By now that video should be up. Yeah. So now you should save for your future. So in this segment, it might be maybe you're saving for masters, you're saving to travel, you're saving for girls trip, you're saving for vacation, there's a bag you want to buy, or there's this hair you want to buy, but it's something you cannot just take out of your salary at once because it's going to affect every other area, especially if you're not earning so much, right? So this is where you can start saving small for it. Save for your car. So let's say you're saving for your car 1,000 cedis every month. Now you know how long you have to save. That 1,000 cedis to get a car is going to take a while, but yes, you have to be patient because you do not have the money for it. So let's say you're planning to travel to Ivory Coast later in the year, or somewhere that is within your budget. You can say, okay, you want to be keeping maybe 800 cedis every month for that. It is also very important to save money aside for future. Now, some people, maybe where you work, you don't have like pension savings and all of those incentives. You should do it yourself. Start saving small for your future. Start having that money somewhere that is yours that you're not going to touch for your future. So out of this, if your salary is within this budget range, you should at least be able to take about 200 cedis out of your salary every month as money you would never touch. Like money you would never touch. You just keep saving it in the bank or somewhere every month. Very important. And the last on this list for personal budget is having emergency funds or VEX money. Now this emergency funds, you might decide to save about 200 cedis for it, right? You might decide to save about 200 cedis for this emergency fund. So this emergency funds, if you have friends that their birthday is coming up, or you want to send your mom money, you want to send your dad some money, you want to do something extra. Okay, so this emergency money is if you want to, whatever you want to do, let's say, for example, you want to buy your friend's birthday is coming up, you want to buy a birthday gift, then you know that you cannot spend above this budget for a birthday gift, right? I always say when it comes to gifts, the intention that matters, not necessarily how much it is worth. So for example, someone asks you, oh Tare, can you please lend me 500 cedis, and you know that your emergency funds, you do not have up to that, then you can go back to tell the person, oh, I'm sorry, this is the amount I can lend you. When you're done with all of this, make sure it is very important that your expenses, your debts, your fixed expenses, your fun expenses, your savings, travels, all of this, make sure they do not exceed your income. Like, it will be so bad. If, for example, you do your budget, because your budget, you're supposed to do your budget before you get the money, right? If you know your salary comes on the 28th of every month, or if you know you get this money at every time in every month, you should do your budget before the money comes. It is not when the money comes that you start doing your budgeting, right? So make sure that all of these expenses, it is less your income. If it is above your income, go into your expenses again. Look at things you have to cut out. Look at things you have to deprive yourself for the meantime, and make sure you cut on it. So now, after all of that, if you're earning between 7,000 cedis or 10,000 cedis below, you will see how much is left. So now the amount left, you would want to, for example, there are things that even though they are in fixed expenses, they are not fixed. So I'm going to leave a link where you can maybe download this if you want to use it as an Excel, very simple Excel format that you can use. I'm just going to leave the template. You don't need to do anything. It has all the formulas, so it helps you minus, plus, and do all of that. So it's just a very easy template. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, but it's a simple way to do your budget. I hope this video helps someone, even if it's just one person. Please do not forget to comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.